Hi everyone. I just thought I'd kind of pop on and do a little read. And as I was kind of setting up the space and getting ready, I kind of was thinking a lot about, the past year and for me personally, what it's been like, moving into my new home and all that entails, and setting it up and getting it to where I wanted it to be, to make it, my own space. And I kind of was thinking a lot about this gratitude thing that that I believe in. But at the same time, I think sometimes it can be, it can come across as a bit, this being grateful and being thankful can be pushed upon us as being a bit sort of condescending maybe. And I am a huge advocate for, for the gratitude journal, but I think that, speaking about gratitude can sometimes sound, a bit out there and maybe not very realistic, especially when, we're in the throes of maybe a genuine crisis or a time in our life. It's almost like a tower moment in the tarot. But yeah, I thought I'd just kind of pop on and talk about it maybe, and then just pull a card maybe after and see how it comes up. So I've been thinking about our stories, the story of our life so far. Some are only beginning their journey through life, and some of us are maybe, I don't know if my age is sort of midway through, I don't know if you'd call it that now, but whatever stage in the story, you're at, we all carry a story. And, some chapters are filled with light, and then other chapters we can barely bring ourselves to read. But no matter how heavy the words, that this is only a chapter, it's not the full story, it's not the end. The tough times are part of the journey. And remember that, our story is still being written. It's written by the choices we make right now, in this moment, and day to day. Kind of rewriting our old story doesn't mean erasing the past, and it doesn't mean pretending that it didn't hurt in some way. It means, allowing the truth of what happened to move through us gently, maybe, and honestly, and without letting it harden into who we think we have to be in the aftermath of the painful time. I think from any kind of pain, physical or emotional, healing it's not a straight line. I kind of feel that it's like a rhythm, and some days you move forward with ease, and other days you kind of realize you return to the same ache, and hopefully in returning to the ache we kind of learn something new from it. There's no judgment in any of that, and we each heal in our own way. I think some of us find healing in movement, and others find healing through the stillness or through silence, and some speak their truth out loud, and this in turn then opens a door for others to speak. So you find your own groove in the healing process, and I suppose the point of it is not to rush through pain, but to find our own rhythm and healing, and find it through some kind of practice. I just remember that our emotions are not problems to fix. I kind of look at them as, they're visitors asking just to be acknowledged. and before they leave and move on. We don't, nor should we, act out on every emotion we feel. Our intellect has to play a part. Otherwise, we just live in a cycle of drama and chaos, and that doesn't serve anybody. So I think, on the topic of gratitude, it's not about denying the pain. It's about, letting in truth and tenderness. And, letting the gratitude, come from a physical place, so that you feel it in your heart, that you're not just writing down a list of things to be grateful for, that you're coming from a place of the feeling of gratitude, of just feeling grateful, so that you actually have this feeling, and it means something. So, I think it's important that we learn, to rewrite our story, but let it be gentle, let it be real, feel what's there, and soften through the pain where you can, and trust then that, gratitude will rise naturally in the body. And it's not a performance, but as a presence, proof that your heart, no matter what it's been through, is learning and healing. Anyway, enough with the philosophizing. I just kind of thought I would pull a couple of cards and see. Giant, and it's funny that we're talking about emotions, and this, came up, and Giant it's called, and it's from the Fairy Tale Heroine Oracle. I kind of just got it. It's a pretty recent oracle deck of mine, but it's this image. It reminds me of the overpowering kind of feeling of emotions that can be giant, and that can be huge, and can overpower us if we let them. And which is where our intellect comes into it. And I suppose just this card is a reminder to put things into perspective, and that sometimes this image looks like it's a giant image in the forest is in the background, and I'm kind of thinking that this is just an illusion, that whatever way the picture was taken, it makes this person look giant and out of proportion in this, but it's actually probably not the case. So I think perspective is a huge thing with this card, that everything is about perspective, and that if we just take a step back and really look into the thing, you do get a better viewpoint and a vantage point of the situation, which is always very helpful, I think. So maybe just this is a message to just kind of step back and look at things from a different perspective, that maybe it isn't all as you seem, that it isn't, sometimes pictures can be deceiving. So yeah, that's that one. And then locked room, I think this relates to that place in our heart that we've locked away and closed off, and that we are afraid sometimes to open up, because it means we have to be vulnerable. But through the healing process, and as a topic of kind of healing that I'm going with today, I think this is the healing process, and in order to heal, we have to unlock that room, that box that we've closed off, and peep inside. We don't have to go in and rummage around in it just now, but peep inside, spend as much time as you need in this particular moment in there, and know, come back out then and protect your heart and close it back up. But you know, we have to deal with what's in the locked room, and we have to, at some point in our life, we have to go back and deal with what's in this locked room. And but it's important, you know, once we don't spend too long in here. So, you know, go in, do the work inside. Don't ruminate too much in it, and and then I think it gets easier to go into the locked room the more we, you know, dip in and dip out. We don't have to spend eons of time in it. We just, you know, dip in, dip out, do the healing process, do the work, whatever it is for you, whatever, you know. I always advocate for the walking in nature, yoga, mindfulness, journaling, yes, all these things that help with the healing process. They're gentle and heal the heart. So yeah, there we go. Just want to do one of the doors ones because I like these, and they're like opportunities that present. You know, I think, you know, how many doors do we open throughout our very day? We're always going through doors, and I think doors that we don't know, that are new to us, I think just maybe treat them as opportunities. So this one is, what a nice, gorgeous, either sunset or sunrise. It's actually sunset. So time here turns to release and unfurl. Old cords of pain fade as the sunlight burns. Isn't that gorgeous? And that's exactly what we're talking about. So yeah. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this. Talk soon.